Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
What is up, everyone? My name is Adam White. This is At the Turn, a brand new show on drroto.com, your daily prescription for fantasy sports, where we look back at the week that was in the PGA, see what we can learn moving forward to apply to future events, and talk a little bit about the fun stuff that happened the week before. Again, what we can kind of see looking forward to next week, and hopefully learn to be a little bit better DFS players, improve our processes week to week. Just designed to kind of be a quick little recap, something easily digestible, something that's not going to take too much of your time, but something that makes you think a little bit, where you go, how can we learn moving forward? Instead of just saying, dang, another bad beat. You know, I hit the wrong value guys, but I had the guys up top figured out. How do we improve our process week to week? How do we become better DFS players? Because the truth is, this game is not easy and golf is very volatile. So if we can at least improve our process, control the things we can control week to week, we can become better DFS players. With that in mind, last week, the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Many refer to it as the Wasted Management Phoenix Open. There's a lot of drinking that happens there. A lot of the stuff that happened this week that was kind of noteworthy. That hole-in-one on Saturday. We're talking about him before the winter, and years from now, you're going to go, hey, who won that event the year that the Rams played the Bengals in the Super Bowl? People probably won't remember that. But what they will remember is that Sam Ryder made an ace and beer was coming down like it was rain from the sky, and everyone was having a good time. So Sam Ryder was certainly a highlight. His ace, I know it's one shot, but man, can that one shot be impactful and make for a fun experience for the fans. The Waste Management Open is like nothing else that we see. It's truly an absolute raucous environment at a golf tournament, which you don't expect, but it makes for a very fun, interactive experience with the fans. You saw Harry Higgs lifting his shirt up, showing off his big gut. Who was it? Joel Diamond with his dad bod, showing off his pale complexion under the shirt. He's got a golfer tan. It's kind of expected. But those guys weren't scared, and the fans absolutely loved it. Another ace on Sunday. Carlos Ortiz made one too. So those were kind of the fun highlights. You know, there were plenty of them throughout the week. Obviously, your winner was Scotty Scheffler. Scotty took down a giant and Patrick Cantlay, beat him down the stretch in that playoff. I think it was the third playoff hole, and got his first PGA Tour victory. If you listened last week to In the Cup with Coach White and myself at drroto.com, we had Scotty Scheffler, myself, and he had Patrick Cantlay for our one and done picks. That's another thing we're going to talk about on the show is one and done, gambling a little bit, you know, first looks, who's looking good this coming week. But those were kind of the guys we had targeted. So what you had last week was up top, a lot of the chalk hit. You had your Xander as a course horse. You had Cantlay, Scheffler, as we mentioned, that were right up there. Rahm faded off a little bit, but still top 10. He's the best cash play on the board week in, week out. Then you had guys up top that you didn't expect, like Sahith Theegala. So that's one that I want to kind of highlight this week. And look, moving forward, how do we identify these guys who are under the radar a little bit, maybe not as known yet, like your Web.com Tour players, Korn Ferry Tour players in this case, that are trending in the right direction with their play, but maybe haven't broken through and gotten that top 10 yet. That's a big part of what I want to focus on during the show. But the guys up top, Justin Thomas, top 10, they are who we thought they were. Did you have Noren last week? Did you have Horschel last week? Theegala was so low owned, it didn't really matter. If you had him, I mean, you needed him if you wanted to win everything. But Noren and Horschel were the ones where those value plays down below, when that chalk hits, it makes for a very chalky week. And that's kind of what you had with the big guys up top. Some of that expected value, expected chalk plays in those value picks, like Noren at 71, Horschel at 79. Those guys did what you expected them to. And that's not very common in golf, to be honest with you. The thing we have to understand about fantasy, daily fantasy sports golf is no matter what platform you're playing on, it's volatile. Your process can be very good. You can be hitting on the right points, the right strokes gained categories. You can be doing a lot of things correctly, and you don't always get results. You have to be patient. You have to be diligent about sticking to your process and be be selective about what contests that you enter. Contest selection, it's not an exciting topic. It doesn't get you real excited to talk about, but it's really important. If you want to have a solid ROI and expect to make money at DFS, you can't be playing in these long shot tournaments, especially in golf, because it's very, very, very rare that you're going to hit on those top end finishes. So from the Wasted Management Open, biggest takeaway is the chalk hit. Congrats to Scotty Scheffler on his first win. Big one and done pick for myself. Actually leading the Fantasy National one and done, both my contests, whatever. Having a good time with that. So hopefully we can take some of the success we've had. Hopefully we can improve your processes through this and help you identify the right players. All right. So this week, Riviera. We are going to the Genesis Open. We're at Riviera Country Club, as mentioned. It's a long golf course. It's up around 7,400, and it plays that long. So I'm looking at guys who are very good off the tee, very good approaches into the greens, and who can save those pars when they miss greens. Par 71 at 7,300 yards. You've got a couple of short par fours, but for the most part, you're in that range where you're going to have some 150 to kind of 180, 200 yards if you're a shorter player into some of these par four greens. You got a lot of them that are in that high 400s range. So that distance, like the 150 to 200 proximity to the hole, are stats I'm looking at, as well as just general tee to green stats, strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach. These are always week after week. Strokes gained approach correlates because you have to create opportunities to make birdies. In order to score in DraftKings, you have to make birdies. So you'll see guys that finish further down the leaderboard end up finishing pretty high as far as DraftKings points. They might finish, say, 20th, 25th, 30th. If you make a lot of birdies, it's okay if you make a lot of mistakes. It's actually good for DraftKings scoring as compared to the guy who's kind of making like 3-4 birdies around and not very many bogeys most weeks. Now this week, with the course setup being longer, having longer shots into the greens, scoring not being as low, somewhere in that 12 to 15 range, I think we need to look more at your finishers, your bogey avoidance, those stats that are going to correlate to a higher finish at the end of the week, less mistake-prone players, and the guys who are going to slowly but surely rise to the top throughout the week that are they keep coming. They're hitting fairways, they're hitting approaches into those scoring zones where you can expect to make some putts 15 feet and in, especially 10 feet and in. Those are the guys we're looking at. Good course fits. You're talking, this sounds obvious, but John Rahm, Victor Hovland, Will Zalatoris, Patrick Cantlay, guys that just hit a high percentage of good drives, a high percentage of approaches. Let's chips fall where they may. If you're going to make some putts, then those guys are probably going to find their way up to the top. It is a cream rises to the top kind of week. You're not going to see likely a whole lot of shocks and surprises up there. Last year, we had Max Homa, got his first PGA Tour victory. His second PGA Tour victory. First of the season last year. Awesome to see. Stuffed it on 18. I think he missed that short little putt and then ended up winning in a playoff with an awesome chip from left of number 10, which is one of the coolest par fours on the PGA Tour. So my strokes gained takeaways from last week that we can apply to this week. You've got some guys that are trending pretty well in certain categories. Really, like this week's the Gala, this week's Alex Noren, the guys that are good values. I'm not saying he's a perfect comparison. I don't expect him to top 5 because his price is so low, but the guy that I'm targeting who's got a good tee to green game, really good off the tee, good into the greens, approach game can get really, really hot, is JJ Spawn. So you look at him in his last few events, he started to trend really well. He's had some finishes kind of in that top 30 range where he hasn't finished up in the top 10 yet and broken through, but he's knocking on the door. And that's the kind of guy that I like to target, especially at a course that's longer, that actually fits him really well. He's a guy that he's going to keep coming. Again, he's just going to, if he doesn't have that one blow up round, I expect Spawn to be up there come the end of the week. Again, solid finishes coming in. Course fit is there. That's a guy that I like at 6,400. Outside of that, also liking Ryan Palmer down below. Very solid tee to green game, has been trending well. Could be this week's Alex Noren. Good value, maybe a little chalky, but pretty solid and tough to pass up there at 7K, especially on a golf course that fits him pretty well. So those are my guys down below. You got JJ Spawn, you got Ryan Palmer. Good course history here. Finau, Scott, DJ, Rory. These are the guys that are just really, really solid tee to green. Rory is one of my favorite plays up top this week. He's very reasonably priced given his odds to finish top 10. You see him down there at the 9th highest priced guy, 8th highest priced guy, I believe, at 9,700. Maybe I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great radio. 7th highest priced guy at $9,700. 2 top 5s in his last 3 events here. Finished 3rd in his last event. Missed a cut before that. 12th, 18th. He's just had some really solid finishes both here and in his weeks leading up to it. So you have that kind of fit between form, course fit. He's determined to win another event on the PGA Tour. He hasn't been winning at the clip he's used to. So Rory's a guy that I'm targeting to make that jump and have a really darn good week there at the top. I like JT a lot too. Good weekend last week, good Sunday. Worked his way to a T8 finish. JT's a guy I expect to win up top. So those are my top guys. Yeah, guys in between with good course history, good course fit. Finau, Scott, those types of guys. And then down below, you got your Ryan Palmers, your JJ Spahns. So wanted to give you guys a quick little recap of last week, what we can learn, what we're looking forward to at the Genesis this week at Riviera. Hopefully this is helpful. We'll keep doing this every week. And if you got questions, if you want to throw some things out there, and this starts to grow a little bit, let's make it a little more of a comedy element too. I like following the guys that have some fun, like the guys that are taking their shirts off and playing around with the crowds. Not an every week thing, but still fun to see. I want to make it interactive for you guys and have some fun with it. So again, thanks to it's drroto.com, your daily subscription for fantasy sports. Check us out. We got content all the way from DFS, NFL that just finished up. We got the baseball season we're gearing up for. MMA, you've got esports and everything in between. So check us out, drroto.com. Appreciate those who tuned in, and we look forward to seeing you guys down the road.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.